Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to test some idle gacha games on the Windows Subsystem for Android, which is currently in preview in Windows 11. I'm sure you must be thinking to yourself, what the heck is a Windows Subsystem for Android? Well, it's not an emulator like BlueStacks, but rather a compatibility layer to run Android apps on Windows. Well, the difference between an emulator and a compatibility layer is that an emulator basically emulates real hardware. In this case, BlueStacks tries to mimic an actual hardware device, whereas a compatibility layer simply takes the Android system calls and translates it into the Windows equivalent. It's kind of similar to Proton on Linux by taking the Windows binaries and converting those Windows system calls into the Linux equivalent. In fact, it's actually similar to the Windows Subsystem for Linux, which is kind of the same concept as this, where it takes the Linux system calls and converting it into the equivalent of Windows. And the advantage over this is that you kind of have less overhead to work with, as they are kind of like talking directly to the kernel, which gives you direct access to the hardware, whereas an emulator is kind of like, has to go through so many different layers, and in some cases it can be very slow to run. But for this video, I'm not going to dive deep into this as it can be a technical rabbit hole. But I will mention some of the downsides as of right now. Number one, there are no key mappings available like on your typical Android emulators. So if you plan on using this to play some games that rely a lot on touch input, then this might be an issue. A lot of Android emulators allow you to do this, so that way you can use your keyboard to map specific areas of the screen. Unfortunately, this is not available on Windows Subsystem for Android, which I think should be a feature, to be honest. If they are planning to bring Android games to Windows, I think this should be a feature. Number two, there is no GPU acceleration, meaning that some games or apps will be kind of choppy to run as everything is being rendered on the CPU. Like I said, hopefully this will change in the future. Number three, don't expect this to be stable. As a matter of fact, I actually lost data while testing this and I had to reset everything. So yeah, don't put any data on this, as there's no guarantee that this is very stable to be used in production. So I would wait until this thing is out of beta. And number four, I think the biggest one is that there are no Google Play services available. While some apps will function just fine, there's no guarantee that every single app will work. And if you're planning to use it to make purchases within the app or game, well, you're kind of out of luck. A lot of these games and apps do use the Google Play services to make these purchases, as, well, technically this is the only way to make any payments on Android is through Google. Alright. So let's get on with the point of this video. Do some of these idle gacha games actually work? Well, let's kind of find out here. So these are the 5 games that we are going to be testing for today. These are D4DJ, ReLIVE School Idol Festival All-Stars, ReLIVE School Idol Festival, Revue Starlight ReLIVE, and Bandori Girls Band Party, the Japanese version. And the first game we'll test out is D4DJ. Will it actually run? And the answer to that is, yeah, it actually works just fine. So yeah, the splash screen, you're in the title screen here. Of course, I have to censor my player ID because I don't want you guys to be stealing it. I know, even though this is like a test account and all, but I do want to keep this account. So yeah. Here we are in the home screen. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell on video, but as you can see, like, everything feels a little bit choppy. And this is kind of what I mentioned earlier, that there is no GPU acceleration. And so you're kind of getting like a very subpar experience. But even then, here on the home screen, you can still do a lot of the things you can do in the game. Like, you can open your gift here, and of course do what you need to do in the game. And yeah, everything is fine for the most part. And like I said, that the Google Play services are not available, which means that the shop does not work. So if you click on this, then nothing is going to happen. Now let's actually get into the gameplay here and see if it actually works. So let's go into ReLIVE here. As a disclaimer, I actually never played this game before, although I have heard of the franchise, but I haven't had enough time to, invest time in it. Let's get into the gameplay here. Now obviously it's gonna be completely unplayable since there is no key mappings available. And if this was an Android emulator, I would probably like have my keyboard all mapped out for this game, but right now that's not available here on the Windows Subsystem for Android. So we're gonna try our best here and play on the mouse only. I hope I don't get copyright for this. So, as you can see, we're in the game. It's actually just fine for the most part. I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. That's all I'm gonna say here. So let's actually try and play this. Nope. It's very hard. Now I'm showing a touchscreen, I'm sure that's gonna work. And as you can see, yeah, I can't really do it. Okay. That confirms it. D4DJ is working fine on Windows Subsystem for Android. Alright, the next game we're gonna try and run is ReLIVE School Idol Festival All-Stars. Will this actually work? Well, let's find out. And it doesn't actually work. It doesn't want to load. So that's a no. What about ReLIVE School Idol Festival? Let's actually find out. And once again, nothing happened. Now the next game we're going to be testing out is Revue Starlight ReLIVE. Will it actually work? Let's find out. And as you can see, the game is launching just fine. And of course you get the message here about the Google Play services, which again, I've already mentioned before. And let's get into the game here. And for the most part, the game does actually work, but the experience is not very playable, and you'll actually see in a moment here. Well, right now, as you can see, that everything feels a bit choppy, and this is what I mentioned before, that there is no GPU acceleration. And for further proof, let's actually check Task Manager. As you can see here, our main GPU here is not being pushed, despite the fact that this is actually running in the background here. You can ignore GPU 0 because this is actually being done on OBS, but this down here is the main GPU. And if you go to the CPU, as you can see here, we are sitting at around 32%. So yeah, the game is not very playable. So let's move on to the next game. Bang Dream Girls Band Party. And will it work? And yep, it does actually work. Of course, like D4DJ, this game can't really be played on a mouse and keyboard. It's another rhythm game. Okay, but will it actually get into the main menu or the home screen? Well, let's find out. And yeah, we just made it into the home screen. Yep, everything is perfectly fine. Yeah, as you can tell, it's very smooth and very choppy at the same time. Let's get into a live show. Will it actually work? Well, it will, I'm sure. Although I probably have to like mute this, I think. Hopefully it's not gonna be an issue with like Bushiroad, like copywriting all my videos, you know. Oh crap. Oh, I just realized. Oh no, the game just crashed. Okay, let's actually run that again one more time. So you guys witnessed that the game actually crashed. Okay. But will it happen again the second time? Let's actually find out. You guys saw that, you guys saw that actually happen in real time. Alright, this time I'm gonna turn off the music video. Maybe that could be the reason why, but let's try this again. If it crashes, then I don't think it's playable. Oh, okay, we actually made it into the gameplay segment here. So which means Bandari is kind of working. Yeah, aside from that crash earlier, but yeah. Of course I'm missing everything here because It's very hard to play on a mouse. But yeah, the game is playable and no problem, you know. And there you have it. These are the games that work on Windows Subsystem for Android, which is D4DJ, Revue, Starlight, ReLIVE, and Bandari Girls Band Party. Again, everything here is in preview. I don't expect everything to work, and I don't even know if other Android apps or Android games work on here. But you can actually go ahead and test this. Actually, all you need to do is download the latest Windows 11 update, then go to the Microsoft Store and download the Amazon App Store. From there, you will actually have the Windows Subsystem for Android, and from there, you can actually run some Android apps. And also, if you're outside of the US, unfortunately, you cannot use the Amazon App Store. For me, I actually had to sideload all of the APKs for these games. I'm sure you can find a tutorial online on how to do this. It's very, very easy to do if you want to sideload your APKs. And yeah, in conclusion, like I said, some of these games work and some of them don't, which is Love Live. These two games don't even work. But in the near future, hopefully they will. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.